Hey, Steve Stine here, and today in Essential Riffs, we're going to be looking at Breadfan, a song originally by a band called Budgie that was redone by Metallica. And what I think is really cool about this intro riff is figuring out what's the best way for you to pick this. Now, there's probably 100 different videos that you can watch, and everybody's doing it a little differently. And I've always kind of stayed true to the fact that what's most important is what feels best for you, not necessarily how Budgie played it or how Metallica played it in terms of the way they pick it, but what's going to work best for you. So I'm going to show you how I do it, and then I'm going to show you a couple of other options of the way I used to do it, and then you can kind of figure out what works best for you, both with playing the song and just for a great practice technique. That's what's great about these essential riffs, is figuring out, what works best for what you're trying to achieve in your guitar playing. So we're going to look at this thing here. That riff right there. Now, traditionally, we know that Metallica plays a lot of down strumming, a lot of down picking. And so it's a great way of developing your down picking if you need that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to play this with the hammer-ons in it, and then I'm going to show you how to play it a couple of different ways if you were to take the hammer-ons out. I've played this song many times in many different ways, and I think when I perform it live, sometimes I do it one way and sometimes it doesn't really make any difference. Whatever's working at the time, I think. So this is the way I think it pretty much goes, is like this. So you'll see what I'm doing is playing a 5 on the 5th string and then a 7. I'm hammering from the 5 to the 7. And then what I'm going to do is play that 7 again. And I'm playing both those with down picks. So I'm playing a down pick on the 5, hammer to 7, play a down pick on the 7. And then I'm just going to start all over again. And then the last time you do it, you're going to double up the 7. So it looks like this. So there's 5 of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the 5th one is the one with the doubled 7 at the end. So the trick here is just trying to keep your rhythm as steady as possible. And developing that pattern. Now, there's what we'll call a tag. Right after you do that, you start all over. So we have this. Okay, and that time we only went 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to take off to the tag. The tag is this. So I'm playing 5, and then on the 6th string I'm playing 7, 5, 3, 0. So I have pausing on that 3. So if I put the whole thing together nice and slow, it looks like this. Double. Okay, now what's a couple of different ways that you could play this for technique development, or you just like it different to play it a different way because it just suits you better? For me, the most important thing when I teach is getting people to understand that your job is to, when you're playing songs, is to execute them. Your job isn't to try and be Kirk Hammett or whoever it might be. You're trying to replicate something as best that you can and make it sound as smooth and as comfortable as possible to both you and your listener. So if it sounds awful, but you go, well, I'm doing it the way Kirk Hammett does it, or James Hetfield, that might be true. But in the bigger picture of what we're trying to do with this music thing, I think it's always important for you to look at other options that just work better comfortably for what you're trying to do. So let's look at a couple of different things. Let's say you looked at playing all of this as down picking and there was no hammer-ons whatsoever and you were doing this. Now, it's going to get very aggressive by doing that, but it's a great way of developing your down picking, and I played it that way for many years without the hammer-on. I would play the whole thing down, the whole song, and it was a lot of fun. Very much developing that ability of being able to pick down because it's quite fast. But let's say you really love this song and your down picking isn't quite there yet. You'd love to be able to do that sometime, and maybe you'll keep practicing, but right now, you'd love to play this song but both those ways I just showed don't really work. Well, then what you could do is try doing an alternate picking thing where you do this. And what I'm doing is playing down, up, down on the first three, which is 5, 7, 7, right? So I'm playing down, up, and then up, down, up on this on the repeat of the 5, 7, 7. And if you do the whole sequence, you're going to start with a down strum when you start all over anyway, so it works out. And so you could do the whole thing alternate picking like that. Again, somebody might say, well, Metallica does an alternate pick. That's probably true, but that doesn't mean that you can't do it. It's just trying to figure out what works best for you. That's the most important thing. So we've got 3 different options of how to approach this riff by Metallica, originally by Budgie, and kind of figuring out what's going to work best for you. Either A, it's just a practice thing that would be fun for you to do, or B, trying to replicate it as best you can. And either way you go is perfect as long as it's what you're looking for. So take care, stay positive, keep practicing, and if you have any requests, make sure you click on the request link below, and I'll try and get to them as soon as I can. Hey, Steve Stine here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please do me a favor and like it and share it. And also, make sure that you subscribe to this channel so you're always notified when I release new videos. And lastly, if you have any song requests, please look in the description. There's a link that you can click on and request a song, and I'll do my best to get to it as soon as possible.